2, 1, and we are live. What's up, everybody? Good evening. Tonight, creepy Uncle Joe gets hit with the Me Too stick. Jesse Smollett. He doesn't get the U anymore, right?
Jesse,
it's Jesse from now on.
Jesse.
Jesse Smollett is the gift that keeps on giving. And AOC comes under fire once again for saying dumb stuff and doing dumb stuff. This is the Young Lion TV podcast.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting?
That's right. We're live, and we're here at True Sound Studios in Camden, New Jersey, a.k.a. The Office, a.k.a. The Lion's Den.
Roar.
We are the Young Lions, and you're here watching the podcast. Thank you for everyone who's joining in. We got Rachel here producing with us this evening, and of course we got Simone Chang sitting here with me.
What up?
Jake is a little under weather today, so we got our half black, half Indian brother coming in to fill in a couple minutes. He's running late, of course. That's the half black side. He'll be here in a couple minutes. James Garcia. And how's it going, man?
I'm chilling, man.
How's your week been?
My week's fine. I see how you copied my
know,
wardrobe.
Man. We didn't even plan this, and it just kind of happened. I mean,
Jamie likes to look like me.
When you're wearing a T-shirt with your own band's name on it, it's kind of something that you can do without planning.
We actually do it all the time. It's nothing new. Really,
but
nothing new.
I want to make sure everybody knows, if you want to support the podcast, if you want to support what we're doing, even musically, we have new music coming out soon. We have new podcast ideas that we're working on all the time. We were just meeting about some great ideas last night. And if you want to support that, you can go to our patreon.com/YoungLionTV and, become a young lion yourself. We invite you into the pride. And you can become a member. You can subscribe to basically being a part of what we're doing and literally helping out with us getting new equipment, new ideas, putting out new content, and we're gonna just keep doing that, trying to spread the word. Yeah, show some love, man.
We should make some Young Lion T-shirts. That's a new thing.
Yeah, why don't you design some?
Yeah, we'll work on that.
So he's gonna design some Young Lion T-shirts, and we want you guys to get some and help out with what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, man,
what up?
You
were telling me something new about AOC.
What?
What you just heard?
Yeah. So on the way here, I was literally just reading that she got another FEC complaint. Remember, she got the complaint before, right, where they were talking about there was some shady business with her
her chief. What's his name?
Her campaign manager or something, Chakrabarti.
Yeah.
Something about him embezzling over $1 million or something like that, using dark money, something like that. And this is another complaint in that area where it's about literally. Oh, there we go. So some subsidy scheme where they're finding out basically that they set up these LLCs under the Justice Democrats, where she's on the board of one of them, but then they're using that money to finance the campaign, but they're doing it in a way where it's real shady, where it's they can basically give her a running start by funding her more than they should be allowed to,
right, based
off of campaign finances and all the laws that are in place. I don't know all of the campaign laws, but it's just it's the funny thing to me is because she portrays herself as
the innocent.
No, not the innocent. It's she's the moral compass for people that are trying to fight against dark money and fight against corrupt politicians. And then she keeps getting she's a part of an entire scheme. A lot of people don't know who the Justice Democrats are. They don't know who Chakrabarti is, or the other guy, I forget his name, that's involved with setting that whole thing up, where they handpicked her, from basically a casting call. And it's not this isn't something that they hide. It's on their website.
Well, she doesn't hide it either, because when she's put under fire, she says a lot of stuff that she doesn't know.
That's true. She has said a lot of things that pretty much end up biting her in the butt.
With recently the 22nd Amendment.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
Where she said that the Republicans try to stop FDR from running from getting elected again.
Right. It was essentially, she was saying that like the Democrats were doing so well at that time. There was, this and that, and FDR had passed all these things. So the Republicans had to amend the Constitution just to stop him from winning another term.
Yeah, but that wasn't implemented till 5 years after he died.
Yeah. And she's constantly making mistakes like that. And you can tell it's like, because the story behind it is that the Justice Democrats are the ones that are giving her the talking points, because she was literally a bartender a year ago.
Yeah, I've actually seen her like say stuff script by script.
Right.
Like
so
sounds like the same
anytime she goes off that script a little bit, she gets caught up in these weird things that she's saying that people are like, wait, because sometimes it's weird how sometimes she'll sound like really smart, and then she'll say the dumbest stuff that makes no sense, like Amazon. That money could have been used. Or like what was it that you know why unemployment's down? Because people are working 2 or 3 jobs. Like,
no,
that's not how unemployment works. So unemployment numbers are down because one person is working 3 jobs.
That's why like all these right-wing people are inviting her to debate. And she has not taken up.
Well, she won't even do an interview on any show that will challenge her. She won't do it, because as much as she like flails around and she comes across as she's so adamant and she's just fighting for the little guy, which even in itself is like you can say that, but your everyday life doesn't show that. Like the way she operates day to day.
Exactly. Even with the Green New Deal thing, is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what the Green New Deal is. Tell my wife, who's unclear of what the Green New Deal is.
So the Green New Deal on its surface, if you don't know what it is, you're going to be like, yeah, that sounds like we need to save the environment. We need to, we need to do things to cut carbon emissions, and we need to figure out a way to save the planet. Especially if you believe the BS, that horse shit that they're putting out there, like, oh, the Earth's gonna end in 12 years, which is crazy. But if you really believe that, so I get it. Like, wow, the Green New Deal, she's trying to do something. But even her approach to that was like, because when it first came out, a lot of people were bashing it because there's so much ridiculous shit in there. Mm-hmm. And she was saying, well, you're not going to do it, and if you're not going to do it, then just shut up, and we're in charge. I'm the boss now.
I'm the boss, right? Quote unquote, like, by the way.
Right. I'm the boss now. But it's like, okay, if that's your stance on it, then let's look at what's in it.
Yeah.
And when people started reading it and realizing that there's stuff in there that just
straight up ridiculous,
doesn't make any sense.
You're getting rid of planes.
You're going to get rid of planes completely for travel.
Getting rid of farting cows.
Yeah.
I love me some beef and steak, man. Come on. I need some burgers.
I mean, the concept of just, there was even things in there that had nothing to do with the environment, like the
underlying social.
Yeah, the socialized income, where people that are unwilling to work will get income, even if you're unwilling to work. And then there was like racial stuff in there, racial equality stuff in there that was like, what does that have to do with the environment?
Yeah.
So it was just like there was a lot of things that were ridiculous, and you could tell how ridiculous they were because when they started getting played out about it, then
she said that wasn't
right. They took it down from the website,
and she recently, actually, I just seen this happen recently. She blamed somebody on her staff.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, she said someone on her staff was a little overzealous and posted it before it was done. But wait, they posted it before it was done, but you submitted it to all of these news organizations
with all that
in there. Yeah. And you had a frequently asked questions up on where you were answering people's questions to the deal. So it's like you took, I could see if there's a draft or something that gets put out there too early, right? And you catch it and you say, oh, we got to take that down. That was, a rough draft. But then you put up the real draft. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you say, oh, this is the one that was it's months later.
There's still, months. They still have yet to.
And not only that, it was up for days until the ridicule came. And then the response was, oh, well, that was a rough draft. But that's the draft that they voted on in Congress that didn't get any
Nobody,
votes,
nobody,
by the way.
nobody,
So it's like,
no support.
so y'all are so adamant about this, but then you don't vote for it at all? Nobody votes for it? It was such a crazy thing.
It's the Green New Deal is crazy. So crazy that she can't live by it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she talks about every family should have one car, you know, and we shouldn't drive as much.
Yeah,
But there's records of her. See, people are smart. There's records of her taking Lyft and Uber. She spends more money on Lyft and Uber and airplane rides than taking a train, for instance.
Exactly.
You know, so
I mean, it's all hypocrisy. It's that idea of like, you know, I can do it, but you need to save the environment, but I don't need to because I'm the one trying to spread the word. You know what I mean? It's the Al Gore thing. It's like, we're going to have these summits about global warming, but we're all taking private jets, you know?
Right.
And
but the world was supposed to have been ended already.
It was supposed to be flooded.
To Al Gore, right?
It's supposed to have been flooded about 10 years ago, I believe. But yeah, you know, the thing that like people, that's where they shoot themselves in the foot with all this. Like, we're predicting that you know how many times that's happened
in history.
History, where they say, you know, if we don't change this now, you know, this even we talked about Margaret Sanger last week, and I remember her saying something in an interview in, I think it was like the 1930s, saying something along that lines, or the 1940s, something like that. Like, if we don't do something about the population now, then people are going to be starving in 30 years, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like,
we're not starving.
Yeah, no one's starving.
We're still here, guys.
People always think they have all this figured out, and it's like you want to take these drastic measures to act on something that hasn't really been proven yet.
Yeah.
But, you know, as far as the dark money thing, I thought it was hilarious because there's that clip of her that went viral that everyone was spreading.
That's how she got famous.
The funny thing about that clip is that it's not the whole, like, they chopped it up to make it look like she was, you know, in control of Congress, but they totally like destroyed her afterwards. But you know what I'm talking about, Rachel, where she there's a clip of her asking about taking money from corporations to Congress. Like, she lays out this entire hypothetical. If I was someone that wanted to, you know, embezzle money, what are the steps that I would take?
She was taking notes, by the way.
Yeah. So now that all this is coming out, it's literally like she was really asking because she wasn't being like sarcastic or hypothetical. She really wanted to know so she could bring that back to Shock Ravardi and see if you can find that. But yeah, it's crazy, man. She's like, she's speaking to, I forget who she's speaking to, but it was like one of her most viral clips. See if you could find like AOC asks about taking dark money, something like that. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, I understand why people want to buy into her so much. First of all, because she's propped up. I get it. She's propped up in front of you. She's a young female. A lot of guys think she's attractive, and to them, that like she can be a boss or whatever. So they use that idea. I mean, that was the whole reason why they casted her. You know, they picked her. I think they say it on their website that they got like 10,000 applicants.
Isn't that crazy?
Of people that wanted to, you know, run. They wanted to be a part of what they're doing, which their whole platform is to take over. I think the LLC that they put under Justice Democrats was like, got like 10,000 applicants.
Let's play a lightning
of people
round
that
game.
wanted to, you know.
I'm gonna be the bad guy, which I'm sure half the room would agree with anyway. And I want to get away with
right
as
here.
much bad things as possible, ideally to enrich myself and advance my interest, even if that means putting my interests ahead of the American people. I have enlisted all of you as my co-conspirators, so you're gonna help me legally get away with all of this. So, Mrs. Hobart Flynn, I want to run. If I want to run a campaign that is entirely funded by corporate political action committees, is there anything that legally prevents me from doing that?
No.
Okay, so there's nothing stopping me from being entirely funded by corporate PACs, say from the fossil fuel industry, the healthcare industry, big pharma. I'm entirely 100% lobbyist PAC funded. Okay, so let's say I'm a really, really bad guy, and let's say I have some skeletons in my closet that I need to cover up so that I can get elected. Mr. Smith, is it true that you wrote this article, this opinion piece for the Washington Post entitled, "These payments to women were unseemly, that doesn't mean they were illegal"?
Well, I can't see the piece, but I wrote a piece under that headline in the Post, so I assume that's right.
Okay, great. So, green light for hush money. I can do all sorts of terrible things. It's totally legal right now for me to pay people off. And that is considered speech. That money is considered speech. So I use my special interest dark money funded campaign to pay off folks that I need to pay off and get
Taking
elected.
notes, Jamie.
So now I'm elected, now I'm
She's
in.
taking
I've
notes.
got the power to draft, lobby, and shape the laws that govern the United States of America. Fabulous. Now,
Yeah, so I mean, right there, I think the music was in the video, Rach. yeah.
Rachel's going crazy. Where's the music
So
coming from?
I mean, that one now, and I remember that clip going viral, and people being like, "First clip, yeah." And it's like everyone is like, "Man, look at her. She's a boss. She's telling it like it is." She was literally taking notes on what she's gonna do. She was like, "Okay, let me write this down." And I'd like to welcome our half black, half Indian brother. Like I said earlier, his half black side is what made him late today. Mr. James Garcia is in the building. Why don't you move down a little bit, Moan, so he's in the shot. There you go. Yeah, there we go. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
You had a long day of work today?
Oh yeah.
I call him my dark ass Indian. You know, that's just me. It might offend some people, but
And what does he call you?
what do you call me?
Dark ass Asian.
yeah, exactly.
Am I dark? I ain't that dark.
You are for Asians. They would throw you out with the bathwater, bro.
He's like one shade lighter than me.
Yeah. Especially in the Asian community, man. They would hold you up to a paper bag and be like, "Throw him away.
We don't want him.
We don't want
Throw
him."
him away.
He'll never be in the news.
Can we talk about how a lot of people don't want to admit that like Asians are probably the most racist people on the planet?
Dude, they're so racist.
Well, it's more prejudice.
nah,
yeah,
yo.
I'd say
I think
don't
prejudice.
I think it's prejudice.
I don't know. The way they talk. I guess
Well, no, I'm
foreigners.
talking about within the group though, like amongst each other.
They are
Amongst
very.
'cause-
They are.
Yeah.
They are very like tribal as far as like we're
Right.
Chinese, everyone else sucks. But there's a special disdain for the blacks. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't that happen with all races?
It's universal.
It's universal. For some reason, the blacks just get it the worst.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, no, I remember watching this one thing where it was like skin bleaching in the Pacific is like out of this
Out of
world.
control. Yeah.
And it's by major
Dude.
companies too. It's not just like
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I remember seeing a commercial in India,
yeah.
partly from where you're from. The commercial was an Indian guy, right? He's dancing, the Indian dance.
Yeah.
He's having a good
And
time.
he's dark skinned at first.
Oh,
And then at the
yeah.
end, he's like,
I know what you're talking
and they
about.
I
and they
remember the
pan
commercial.
it, and he's light skinned.
Yeah.
The commercial is called Fair and Handsome.
Yes, fair and handsome.
He was having a bad day.
Let's see if Rachel can pull that up. See if you can find the fair and handsome commercial because this is
Fair
hilarious.
and handsome.
This definitely taps into
Yeah.
the
It's
color complex
Color
in our
conflict.
world.
That's a perfect word. Color conflict.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think like again. I put racism and hate in categories. I don't think it's racism per se. I think it's more prejudice, and they run with it.
Okay.
And they hold on to it, and they're like, okay, we feel this way about this type of thing.
Right.
skin tone.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Skin tone is a big thing. My mom, till this day, she hates going to the beach, and if she does go to the beach, she is, dude, like
Covered from head to toe.
Yeah.
I see it all the time.
I'm talking about like you're going to the beach. It's summertime. She's wearing like long sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got the
pants
hat that
with the
covers
hat.
everything. Yeah.
You got to be in the umbrella.
I see them out there. I'm like, what are you doing here?
If somebody's
Just stay home.
Hey, there's an astronaut on the beach. No, it's Simone's mom.
Oh, here we go.
Land ho.
Here we go.
Check this out. This is
looks
hilarious.
ridiculous.
दीवानों
This is a different one.
कहां से आया मैं हूं कौन
Oh yes.
Oh
Look
yeah.
at that.
Now I'm gonna get all the bitches. Look, he's looking at him like,
मर्दों की सख्त त्वचा के लिए पिंक फेयरनेस क्रीम नहीं बनी। फेयर एंड हैंडसम नाम तो सुना ही होगा। 11 मुल्कों के मर्दों की सख्त त्वचा के लिए इसे लगाओ, गजब का गोरापन पाओ।
Oh yes. Oh, new man right there. Check that out. He's Dane Cook. He's Dane Cook,
अब फेयर
man.
से बचना मुश्किल ही नहीं।
नामुमकिन है।
He's
फेयर एंड
Dane Cook.
हैंडसम नाम तो सुना ही होगा।
wow.
That is
Wow.
hilarious.
Bro.
That was a new commercial.
That was hilarious.
Dude, the funniest thing to me about that is like, why is fair and handsome the only thing in English?
Fair and handsome.
Like they're marketing it to
Like some guys over here, like, I'll give it a try. My world is not the same anymore.
yo, that was some funny stuff.
Isn't it though?
But it's and in Asia, I feel like it's like
It's the same thing.
It's the
dude.
same thing.
well, India is Asia. I meant I
It
was
is
collectively
yeah.
putting that together.
Yeah, you're being racist.
No, I was putting it together. You separated it. You separated
Yeah,
it.
no, collectively.
Yeah.
Collectively.
No,
But-
it is a thing.
Yeah.
Like movie stars, people on the news,
Right.
They're models. They're all fair skinned.
Right.
Right.
If you look at the news, if you look at the stars, the people who are in front of the camera, they're not a proper reflection of the people you see in the country.
Right.
Right. And so you have to ask yourself, why is that? Because they're selected. I mean, just like here too, but obviously they're selected because they look a certain way.
Well, I mean, in a sense, it makes sense because if you're doing a movie, you want it to sell, and
Right.
beautiful people sell movies. But why are those people considered beautiful? That's what the deeper issue that we need to consider.
Right.
But there was something funny that I wanted to bring up to y'all that I saw that like you know how Black Panther like broke all these records in the U.S. and it was like this major big hit.
Right.
But you know what stopped it from being like a global hit?
What?
China.
How?
Because they didn't want to watch it.
They didn't want to watch
They
it.
didn't want to watch it.
It was
Because
too
it's
black.
too many
It was
blacks.
too black, for
Bro,
them.
seriously, like if you go on, I forget, there's sites where you can go on and watch the like Chinese reviews of Black Panther.
Terrible.
It is the most hilarious racist shit you've ever
I want
heard.
to see it. And you know what's amazing about that? There's tons of Chinese trying to get into Africa.
Yo.
I have a buddy.
They're getting in there for another reason.
Well,
though.
of course. I mean, hey, we want to
Yeah.
use the resources,
Right.
But you hate what you don't like those people,
Right.
And you can't watch a movie with them, but you want to go to that country,
Right.
You know,
Yeah, because they want what they want to do is they want to subvert the government by offering them things, but then
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to give us something in return.
right?
you
What
know?
they're doing, they did it in Jamaica recently. where
Yeah.
they built a highway for them, and in lieu of some of the payment, not all of it, but some of the payment, they would get some land,
Right.
You know, and of course the I guess the economists down there are like, hey, great, that's a good idea. No. Terrible.
Chinese moviegoers think Black Panther is too black. See?
What gave it away? How did you know? You guys are geniuses.
So they didn't want to see it. Yeah, but it's true, man. But then
Well,
they'll
they
go.
saw it already. They saw a line.
Well, they had to see it. They had to see it to know it's.
Yeah.
You heard me?
What?
I said they saw it already. They saw Lion King.
Yeah, but there's no blacks in Lion King. That's all animals.
Right. We'll take the animal.
Yes. We can watch the animals.
pun intended, guys.
Oh man,
Animals are fine. Animals are fine, but get those blacks out of here.
Right.
Man, but when I was in Kenya, I remember we were riding around, and you know how it is in third world countries. The driving is insane.
Right.
Right, like people don't follow traffic laws. It's just like a
Baby
free for all.
crawling across the street.
Yeah, babies
There's a
crossing.
baby right there, man.
Motorcycles are just weaving through all the traffic. Dude, there was guys like, if you stop somewhere, they would just come out of the bushes with like packs of batteries, pencils, newspapers,
Meat on a stick.
Yeah, they're trying
Would
to sell
you buy
you
some
everything.
meat,
They're trying
my
to sell
friend?
you everything.
Sure, I'll take a bite.
But they had traffic lights.
Yeah.
But they just ignored them.
Of course.
And so we kept asking the driver, like, yo, no one follows. He was like, oh, they just put these in. Like, oh,
So
really?
they don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, they just put these in. The Chinese came in and put all the traffic lights in.
Wow.
Right.
Like, really? Yeah, he's like, yeah, they're building roads and stuff. I'm like, yeah, because they're doing it for trade. Think about it. China is so overpopulated, bro.
Right.
They're trying a new version of colonization.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like,
But they can't do it, of course, the old way.
Right.
But really what it is, too, it's also, Africa has tons of minerals.
Right.
And one thing I wanted to say about that is, what people don't understand about the EV culture, electronic vehicles,
Right.
is this. Those batteries, to get the minerals, to produce those type of batteries, take special type of minerals.
Right.
And they have to be unearthed. They have to be excavated. And people don't realize the long-term effects of what that's going to be, because it's more. When you have to go get that, you have to blow up mountains, and you have to dig, and you have to do a lot of. And they need to come in and pretty much get those minerals. And how
Right.
are they going to do it? You know.
Yeah. They have to make trade-offs with the government and stuff like that.
Years from now, people are going to realize the long-term effects of that is probably going to be worse than oil.
Right.
You know,
And
because
diamond mining and all that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And when an electronic vehicle crashes, you can't just take it to a junkyard. You got to take it to a special place. You can't just crush that
Right.
thing.
This is the other like ridiculousness of the Green New Deal. We were just talking about that before you got here. It's like
Right.
it doesn't take into account all of those things.
No,
It's
they do,
like,
but they won't mention it. It's kind of
well, it's because they have to make it seem like we're just going to get rid of all fossil fuels and carbon emissions, and we're going to do it through electric cars and stuff like. But they don't realize how much of the environment is going to get destroyed to create that amount of electricity.
Yeah, how are you gonna get the minerals?
How are you going to ship? How are you going to retrofit every building in the world or in the country? You know what I mean? If you can't use fossil fuels to ship equipment back and forth,
Right.
You know what I mean? How are you going to do this? Like,
Right.
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think that they tell us exactly what it's going to take.
What's this? Yeah. This is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Car makers,
Yep.
electric dreams depend on supplies of rare minerals.
Very much so. And it's that same. Remember that scene in Avatar?
Which one?
There's a scene in Avatar where the scientist and the project managers they're arguing about a mineral called obtanium.
I remember that, yeah.
So the whole point of it was they went to this planet to get this rare mineral that's like special. It's
Right.
worth like billions of dollars. And to do that, they have to uproot and destroy these people, destroy the land
Right.
to get it. It was like, it's like one of those things where it's just part of the movie, but it has deeper meaning.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Right.
In order to get these rare minerals to make these things, they're going to have to do a lot of damage and a lot of destruction to get it.
It's just like we talk about all the time. Like a lot of the problem with the concept of veganism, where people think like, oh, but I'm against killing animals, and they don't realize. Do you know how many animals were killed to make that soy field that all your soy burgers are coming
You're
from?
destroying ecosystem. Farming
Yeah.
is like the worst for
Like,
ecosystem.
Right.
Soy farms, corn farms. Those are some of the most
Right. destructive
things on the planet.
Right. And to that I say, you don't like animals being killed, but you don't care about the little kid making your shoes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The little kid in Cambodia
Wearing your,
making your
making
shirts.
your Prada shoes.
Right.
I gotta keep warm.
Right, but that's why they're for open borders too, because
Yeah.
they need people to, get them their
Cheap
soybeans.
Yeah, cheap production.
Cheap production. Otherwise, their soy hot dogs would be $2,000.
Who's gonna pick my arugula salad?
Right.
You know? I don't want to do it. I've got things to do. But back to the whole back to the thing about the EVs. I learned this thing about solar panels, right?
Yeah.
A friend of mine who used to sell them said that the long-term effect or the efficiency of them are not what people think it is. For instance, everybody here who ever had a shower with a glass door, after a week or two, and or however long, you don't clean it, it starts to build up from the minerals, from the water, the soap, the scum, basically, right? So after a while, you have to clean that, right? And the glass becomes opaque with all the discoloration, right? He's like, let me ask you this question. Mon, why are you throwing stuff at me? All right, fine, I'll get Fair and Handsome. He just gave me Fair and Handsome. So anyway, the solar panels on the roof, right?
Yeah.
Think about how dirty. At first, when they put it in, they install it. It's awesome. It works efficiently. It's pulling all the sunlight. Your energy bill is great. But after a year,
right, all the mineral buildup,
from the rain,
yeah.
from the sun, from all the stuff, pollen, all the stuff starts being caked on there. You start losing efficiency. Now you sign on to do a 10, 30 year, whatever to pay it off.
Lease. They usually lease them out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So within a year, 2 years, let's say give or take 5.
Yeah.
It starts to lose its efficiency.
Right.
Now you're supposed to clean them,
right? Because
that's how. Like, imagine driving your car for months and months without ever using the windshield. The glass will get dirty.
Right.
It just is what it is. Now it starts losing its efficiency, and you're eventually going to lose the value of what that is. They're not going to tell you that,
right?
Most of the solar fields are on the ground, so they can clean them.
Yeah. When it's up on your roof, it's a harder job.
Who's going to get up there? Don't mind me while I step on this glass. Woo, 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 woo.
You can see me up there. I'll find a way to
do
it.
You would do it.
I know who's going to clean it. Open the borders, man.
Get them up there.
The borders are open,
but
man.
That's the whole point is that they tell you something. They sell you on the idea.
Right.
But as time go on, then you start finding other things out. You're like, wait a minute, that don't work the way you said it's going to work.
Yeah. I mean, that's anything with something that's new. There's always things that you don't know.
Right.
And some
well,
things
they know. Yeah, I'll have one.
You got to hit the microphone and everything. This guy's the
Fair
worst.
And handsome. Take a look at
Fair and handsome.
I just love that word.
I know, fair and handsome.
Makes me feel terrible.
The fact that fair has to come first. Fair has to be before handsome. Right. You can't be handsome without fairness.
You're not handsome. You're too dark.
Right.
Speak for yourself, sir.
But it's crazy because that is like part of half of your culture is kind of caught up in that, right?
Oh, of course,
like that fairness, that fair skin thing. I remember I was watching a thing on Netflix. I forget who the comedian was, but he was talking about that whole concept of how they arrange marriages in India, because he's like, he's like first generation,
right?
Or second generation. I don't remember what it is that if your parents moved here and you're the first generation American Indian, whatever.
Yeah, first gen.
So he was talking about the arranged marriage situation. He takes you through the whole process and what they do, and they literally like rank you based off of your skin color.
Right.
Yeah, like like the level of your brownness is like listed as one of the things. You know what I mean?
You have a BMW 10 points. Dark skin, -2.
There's a point system.
Right. It's hilarious.
It is. But to be fair, that type of colorism exists in the black community too.
It does. It absolutely
So you got to talk about that, because you can't just talk about you know what I mean?
Jamie's the light.
He's over there like, don't mind me, guys.
I can't speak to it because I'm mixed.
No, you're mixed, but I'm saying you're
so they already don't count me.
No. But what I mean is colorism from the standpoint of you grew up on the side where people think you have an advantage because you're light skinned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, in a sense, people will think that, but
as a kid, like you didn't get it.
No, as a kid, I got more of a like, oh, you need to decide if you're white or black. Like you have to decide.
Oh, okay.
You can't be both. You
That's
know what I mean?
crazy.
But what I mean is like, don't you think that there's a thing like, okay, like when I say colorism, maybe I should broaden that a little bit, like identities of beauty.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like hair weaves and like things like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't you think that all ties into that, whatever that is, like the need to like look beautiful or handsome or pretty, it all comes from that same place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when, as far as for me, I kind of got it though from people would say like, oh, if you're light skinned, you're soft. Like light skinned dudes are soft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll be sure.
Yeah.
Like they would put you in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they would always make those jokes.
Right.
Like, oh, look at you know, whoever.
He sings too.
Yeah, and I sing.
Yeah.
You know. So you
Excuse me.
you would get that, you know, from
Mm-hmm.
from the dudes. They would kind of like want to push you away because you know.
But that's what I mean. I think this thing has long tentacles.
Yeah.
And it affects communities different. Like, you know.
But I think even like for guys that were really dark, you remember in high school, like they would make fun of dark guys too. Like
Yeah.
if you're too dark,
Right.
you know, remember they used to call Marcus.
Perkins.
Yeah. Used to call him Darkest Marcus.
Darkest Marcus.
Yeah.
Which is like so messed up.
Yeah.
You know, but
It is.
people for some reason, like I don't know where that comes from, but in the black community, like they have a tendency to use your shade of color as a way to attack you in a way. You know what I mean? Like or pick on you or make fun of you.
That's one thing I'm curious. Like I want to know, do white people do that? Like make man, you're so like do they do that? You're so tan. Look how tan you are. You know what I mean? Like we do it to each other.
I think they do in a
They
sense.
do. Actually, you know what? You're right. They do because I've heard them like redheads.
Yeah.
Like they make fun of redheads.
Right,
Like it's a
right.
thing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't notice that until I started hanging out with my white friends and they're making fun of. I'm like, oh, they do this.
Right.
So I guess they do.
It's just a thing that we do. We just
Yeah.
all make fun of each other.
Everybody-
That's just a human thing, I
Yeah,
guess, right?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
we just like making fun of each other.
I used to get your last name is Chang. You know Kung Fu?
And that's when he decided to dress like a black guy. I'll show you. Give me that bandana.
I'm down with the brown.
He goes to USA Blues.
USA Blues.
Can I get those pair of jeans? Yes, sure. What size? You look like about a 28 waist. He's like, no, give me a size 50.
yeah,
It's really baggy. It's the 90s.
right. And give me those Timberlands 2 sizes too big. Keep the tongue out. Don't lace them up.
I just picture him
I'll
going
take
in.
a 5X white tee, please.
Right.
This is funny.
I wish there's a picture.
There's probably pictures of you on
Oh,
Facebook.
he destroyed. Listen, when I tell you he burned that, he probably used those things as frisbees. No one will ever know this.
Yeah, man, everybody in high school remembers when Simone used to dress like Usher.
I seen
You
the
make me
pictures.
wanna.
So let's talk about Joe. Remember I said creepy Uncle Joe got me too.
Oh yeah, creepy Uncle Joe.
He got me too, man.
Hey, listen, they're already making excuses for him. Forgive Joe.
Yeah.
he's just playing around.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
No.
giving girls smellies, man.
Yeah. Who knew?
Girls that
I
he
thought
don't
that.
know smellies.
Listen, this is the thing. Like you guys come from another country where smellies are a thing, right? You give your loved ones smellies. You sniff them. You put them
like
close to you.
Growing up, that's how my mom, my aunt,
Growing
like, kissed
up,
me.
it's just part of your culture.
they would
I'm sure Joe
literally
Biden, when he was growing up in Cambodia, was exposed to the same thing.
Smellies.
But this is the thing. Do you ever do that with strangers and people you don't know?
no,
Exactly.
I never smell anybody.
Exactly. There's boundaries.
I mean,
like,
I love Rachel, and I don't smell her.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yes.
She's totally uncomfortable, right? Fair and handsome and smelly. Jeez, these guys.
But the hilarious thing to me is like watching the hypocrisy of the Me Too
Of course.
thing, where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, because Joe is one of the people saying you got to believe all women.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, we got to believe them. You know, and now it's like, well, hey, wait a minute now.
Yeah, and you can the thing about it when I watch the videos because I always try to get my take on it. I try
Right.
to filter out the news. When I watch that, this is what I see. I see a guy who is way too comfortable and being touchy-feely.
Right.
And the people around him, because he has this authority and he has this title, they're like, ha ha,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
like
Right.
they don't know how to react to
That's
that.
the look on all of their faces.
Yo, the little Asian girl.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know who the senator or whoever. The
I don't
daughter,
remember, but
she was just like,
them little kids be frozen.
Yeah, because you're telling literally you give them conflicting messages.
Right.
Don't let strangers touch you. And this guy
Right.
comes along. He's like, well,
He's like
a
rubbing
senator.
on them. Yeah.
Or the
Yeah. Let's see this. Biden, we need to talk about the way you touch women.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
a little back rub right there.
But then what's funny is what was the one I was showing you, Rachel? I think it was WAPO, where they tried to frame it in another way, where it was like Joe Biden's affectionate approach. You know what I mean?
Affectionate approach. Get out of here.
Oh, it's hilarious, bro.
There's
Like-
no way he could do this in a workplace and
Yeah.
not be fired.
Right, exactly.
You know.
yeah.
But like you see, oh, that's just like Nancy Pelosi. That's just how he is. He's a very affectionate guy. You know, he's just
But with
affectionate.
strangers though,
Yeah, that's the thing.
or little high school, like there were some high school girls,
Even younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he was touching them like around the stomach area.
It's
That
creep-
is
it's-
creepy,
like, listen,
bro.
He may not be some kind of like weirdo sex guy like a lot of these dudes are. Like, I'm not trying to say he's doing what like a Harvey Weinstein
No,
thing.
no.
Or he
But
might be.
he could be. I don't know, but
Right.
because a lot of these politicians are weird. Like
Right.
you find out all of these weird. Joe Biden's affectionate physical style with women.
I mean,
comes
look how
from his-
close. I mean, it's like he
Yo.
goes in. He reminds me of The Bachelor. You know,
This rose is for you.
He reminds me of the Family Feud guy, the old
yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
you remember
Yeah, I
that
guy? He would kiss all the
He
ladies.
kissed all the ladies.
Right.
Yeah. The
Maybe, but don't you think? Could it be that he's from that era, but he's trying to exist in this era? He's saying all the things,
Right. It
but
could
it's
be.
like he can't
That's-
override his emotions.
That's why it's a weird thing because it's like he's from that. He's an older guy.
Right.
There was rules were different back then.
Come on.
And if you see that clip of the dude from Family Feud, like he's just kissing, and they're fine with it. The women are just
Yeah,
like
they love it. They can't wait.
Yeah,
Me over here.
Not
I'll
kissing,
get to you.
kissing in the mouth.
yeah, kissing
Yeah.
on the
Every
mouth.
single one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like, stop. Like, to me, it's like, okay, you're saying this stuff, but then your lifestyle doesn't reflect what you know what I mean?
Right.
Because if
Right.
someone accused him, would he
Yeah.
come out and be like, yes, I was inappropriate? I don't think so.
That's the thing. It's
Is
like
that how he sounds?
I don't know. To me, it sounds like that.
oh, here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. Come on, watch him go. Look at him go.
There-
oh yeah,
there he
you
goes.
Get,
Oh,
you get
yeah.
a kiss. Look how happy they are to
Kiss.
do it. Look,
Yeah.
look, this guy. This guy was like, "Where's
guy
Mike?"
wanna-
Listen, how did this guy get away with this? How? And they're
I'll be like, bro, nah, yo, you can't kiss my wife like that.
but it was a different era. Right?
was different
It was
time.
a different era. Right?
And Biden's just, he's still stuck in that time. You know how you see that dude that's still rocking that 1986 mullet because
Right.
he's still stuck in 1986.
Right.
Biden is still stuck in a world where it's okay to rub up on women like that.
And I don't mind that you are, but don't go throwing stones at people.
Right. That's what I'm
Hey,
saying.
If that's who you are, that's
Right.
but don't,
Yeah.
I don't mind that you are, Rachel. Look at you like,
No, I'm
What
saying
do you-
no. I'm talking
what
his
do you-
affection. I'm not talking about being a pedo. I'm saying or whatever it is. I'm just saying I don't mind that your excuse is you're affectionate,
Right.
or whatever it is.
Right.
Then you better be able to say the same thing for other people. You don't know the context. Then.
Or
Yeah.
if you're supposed to be in a powerful position like that, you need to be a little more conscientious. Thank you, Rachel, and learn how to adjust and adapt to
Right.
the times that you say, because he's out there talking about it all the time. He's always talking about Me
Right.
Too. He's always talking about women and women's rights, and he's campaigning on those things.
Well,
Even
his
but-
party took that stance, so he's
Right.
got to say that.
right. But what I'm saying is, but then you don't live it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So.
And he's
so
being called out on it.
is he crossing a line? Is that like, it's weird, but is it
I think it's Dude,
sexual?
I think it's crossing a line in the fact that now someone has come out saying that they didn't like it. So now what? Now what?
She's shady though, yo.
She is shady, but it doesn't matter. She's can't. I mean,
she is
yeah,
super,
she's
super
shady.
shady.
She's-
She came out with that, and then what is it? A week later, she's at Beto O'Rourke's speech.
hold on. I'm reading the chat. Somebody said, "Come on, guys, it's just a kiss. I do it all the time, but I don't French kiss them. It's a sign of affection, an icebreaker." Yeah, but I don't know. When you're in
Who said that?
Duran. When you're in a position of power like that, and people people are looking at you as a leader, and they're already coming to you. Like a lot of these people, he's at their rallies, or he's announcing them, or these are people that are in seats in the government.
Right.
So they're already in an awkward position,
Right.
you know, because he's a lot of times the leader of their party at the time. He's the vice president at this time, you know.
Right.
So it's like, you know, how much do you let him get away with touching you if you're uncomfortable?
Right.
You know, I wouldn't want somebody, you know, that I don't know touching on me like that.
Yeah. And the thing is, the main question is, would that be, if somebody from the other party did that, would you have that same
Oh my
attitude
God,
of,
dude! If
well,
a conservative did that,
right,
did what if you know, we would be seeing it on a loop, nonstop.
Right.
All of those videos.
that's what it is. It's like, let's be fair across the board,
Right.
You know,
And it's like, if you're going to be an advocate for these things, and then someone points out to you what you're doing, then you gotta.
yeah, you can't draw the line
Yeah.
and be like, well, let me move it here because this line has me in it.
Right. Let's be fair, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's
So
creepy.
what was his response to that? What did he say?
He said that he didn't feel like he was doing anything inappropriate, but he's willing to listen and hear people's point of view. That's what he said, basically. You know.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, man. To me,
Here we go. Let's see.
Joe Biden in new video.
Oh, I guess he came out with something else. Let's see.
I will be mindful about respecting
See what he says.
personal space in the future.
Play the video. Let's see what he says.
He looks creepy.
Creepy Uncle Joe.
Asking.
it won't play.
Okay, it's not gonna play. Okay, well, anyway, we got the gist of it. He
Yeah,
said
yeah.
he learned his lesson. They swatted his hand. They said, "Listen, Joe, if you want to run,
Right. But that's a new era we're in, though.
yeah,
You know.
He's still not, quote unquote, running yet. Right?
Right.
Did he?
no, I don't think he officially announced yet, but
I don't know.
Juanita says she said it was awkward, but didn't rise to the level of assault. Then why bring it up? Well, the new said she did it because she supports Bernie Sanders and knew Biden might run for president. Yeah, I mean, I believe that's why
She
she
supports
did
Beto.
it. Juanita, you have a typo, by the way. Just to let you know.
Grammar girl, grammar girl there.
But yeah, that's why we were saying it's shady, because she did support Bernie in the past. She was at a Beto rally, and of course it's like, come out with this because
5 years.
Biden's the front runner right now, even though he didn't even announce yet, but he's the front runner. So it's like all the polls are giving him the best numbers right now. So bring something out there to knock him down the size. And that's the weirdness about the timing of all of this, because I've seen videos for years of Biden doing this stuff, and I've always said, we talked about this before.
I'm a meme guy. There was memes of him being like extra touchy feely.
Yeah,
it was like a thing.
They've been calling him creepy Uncle Joe for years that I can remember.
In the world, they've been calling him that in the world of Me Too. Right. But it was never a thing until now.
Right. Because now it's a political game. Because now it's like, how can we get him out of the race?
It's the mudslinging. It's mudslinging season.
Right.
So we all got to do something.
And now it's like, if we can keep him, maybe this will keep him from running. And then Bernie's the front runner after that.
Right.
Bernie's the next in line. He's got the second best numbers. So it's like, we can get Joe out.
Right. And then Bernie will turn around and be like, he's going to be my vice president.
It's going to be tough for Joe anyway, man. He was riding that Obama, and the left is actually, trying to forget about Obama. Like they're moving towards the
away.
Bernie side
Right.
of things.
It's more about socialism now. And Bernie's a little more up their alley.
Yeah.
Biden is like Obama 3.
Socialize everything free.
Yeah.
And Bernie has a more younger base.
Yep.
So
Oh, man.
He's doing amazing.
I've seen the numbers you was talking about. 18 to 25. His numbers are ridiculous.
No one's even close to him.
Ridiculous.
For 18, like all the younger than millennials, like the young. I don't know, are they still considered millennials at that age?
What is a new thing?
I don't know.
What's the new thing, Rach? Do you know? Millennials.
Generation Y.
When does it start?
Yeah. What is it called? What are we? Generation X?
No, we're technically the beginning of the millennial crowd.
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah. I think it starts.
We're not millennial. Whatever. I can't say that word.
But it didn't.
The
millennials.
We're not the millennials.
Millennials born 81 to 1996.
Oh, I'm a millennial.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
You're
me
not-
too. No,
You are
I'm
too.
not.
You're not.
I'm not.
You're not. Me and James are millennials.
yeah.
See,
Get out of my.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for my
I'm
generation.
gonna fake it.
Generation X is 65 to 80.
Yeah, your generation.
Oh
X.
yeah, I'm the end of it.
Last, you screwed it up for all of us.
You remember the wrestling thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DX.
Yeah, man. So-
That's offensive nowadays.
So speaking of the hypocrisy of Me Too, can we talk about this Cardi B thing?
Oh yeah.
Goodness.
Let's talk about the Cardi B thing.
My goodness.
Because people
Can we pull it up?
people are caping for her in a way that just blows my mind. Like especially in like the hip hop world, the black community. I was telling you that I was watching that podcast with Joe Buttons and Remy Martin, and they're like literally
Defending her.
defending this girl. Like she did nothing wrong, and she's just telling her truth. And you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to survive.
She said she drugged somebody, took their money.
Unless it was their son.
Right,
Then,
right,
You know,
right.
or somebody they knew.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So if
to
a
me.
man did it, right?
Well-
Bill Cosby,
There's different rules.
he's in jail.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, I think people are trying to say you can't equate it to Bill Cosby
why not?
because he was raping, and raping is more.
Yeah, I think I think in that sense, the bodily part,
Right.
That's
Violating someone's body.
Yeah, I think that's worse.
It's
I
worse, right.
I wouldn't say it's the same thing. It's along the same lines.
It comes from the same place.
It starts
of-
out in the same place.
Right.
Yes.
We talked
I'm
about
gonna
this
trick you,
before,
yeah.
where it's like I'm using my influence to trick you into something that I want.
Yeah.
Now, what Bill wants is a lot more, gruesome than what she wants. She wants to rob somebody and take their
Right,
money.
right.
He wants to take a part of them that's, people like that, I believe should be killed. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Damn, son.
dude, like I don't think rape.
Castrated.
I think
If you rape
rapists are
somebody,
like
yeah.
the worst thing on the planet.
It is.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I don't think she's on the same level as a rapist.
Right.
But the where it starts out as, in terms of, she wants a certain thing. She wants money, and he wants a sex or whatever it is.
Right.
Like that. Both of those things originated in the same.
And
place.
he's using his power as a celebrity and influence as a
Right.
celebrity
And
to
she's-
find
yeah.
girls that will buy into that to get them alone in order to get what he wants. She's using her influence as a woman that guys want to get them alone and then get
and that
what
does
she
happen.
wants. Right.
That does happen.
I see you found it, but it's not
Is
playing.
defending
Oh,
herself against an old video that surfaced online where she claims she drugged and robbed men.
I want to go straight. I want to go, oh yeah, you want to me? Yeah, let's go to this hotel. And I drop up and I'll rob them.
Well, we got the idea.
Yeah.
We heard the
With
audio.
all that screaming.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like I think it really exposes like people want to worship celebrities, and they want to prop up celebrities, especially someone like Cardi B who's got like a hood rat mentality, and then you're surprised when you find out that she did hood rat stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can't be surprised.
Right.
And then, but the thing is, are you still going to let your daughters listen to her music?
Right.
Are you still going to support her music knowing that? Like, of course you are, because to you, music and celebrity trumps bad behavior. And that's another huge problem, especially in the black community.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, this kind of behavior is not just allocated to the hood, because I remember I read this article. It was about like 4 or 5 years ago, where it was a local Philadelphia reporter who had went down to Miami,
Right.
met some girls, had a good time with the girls. The girls took him back to his to their place. They drugged him, and they took his watch and they took stuff. So it's just not. This is, I won't put all of that on in the city hood rat culture.
Right.
That's a thing that certain people will do. More specifically, certain women who know that the only way for them to rob this guy and be safe, physically safe,
Right.
is to drug him,
Right.
and take, so that happens a lot.
But it happens more, like the dude from Hanging with Mr. Cooper. What was his name? Romeo. That's how he got killed.
Yeah.
Sam Cooke
Yeah.
got killed the same way. I like it.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that you hear a lot more about in the hood, like girls that will set a dude up.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. Because they figured out that this is the problem with men who have loose morals too.
Right.
Where you would get lured into that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we have to talk about that too, because I'm guaranteeing you, there's probably not gonna be one guy that's gonna come out and be like, yeah, she did that to me.
No one's gonna admit to it.
He'll never do that.
Right. So there won't be a
There won't be-
surviving Cardi B documentary.
You're not gonna be standing around like, wait, number 50?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
50 guys? No, they'll never do that.
Right. Because it's too
It'll
too
be
embarrassing.
It's
Right.
number one, you're admitting that you're into whoredom.
Right.
You're into
Right.
that's what you're into.
Right.
Because you thought you were gonna.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, what she did is despicable.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna defend that. That's wrong.
But do you think that it speaks to some type of hypocrisy in Me Too though?
Of course it does.
Because I don't hear a lot of like people
backlash.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anytime, in my opinion, anytime a woman uses her sexuality to get what she wants, it's for her advancement.
Right.
It's never because it's moral or social decay. It's just she was doing what she got to do. It's not that simple.
Right.
You can't use that as an excuse. You can't. It's immoral behavior, and you have to call it out for what it is on both sides, men or women.
Right.
But you can't say.
But
she was doing
it's
this
not equal though on both sides. Like during Christmas time, they had an issue with that song.
Oh, yeah.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Right.
Because the guy was whatever.
Yeah, we
But-
talked about that. Like, "Baby It's Cold Outside" was getting banned on radio stations across the country because of Me Too. They were saying that he's like basically forcing her or talking her into staying and having sex with him. So this is an offensive song. But then like I kept hearing Santa Baby
Santa
over and
Baby.
over and over again.
She's using
It's
her
like-
sexuality to try
to seduce Santa Claus to giving her what she wants. And it was like, that's okay though? Like why is that okay?
Right. And it's the era of oversensitive. I'm so hurt.
Right.
This is the era we live in.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because none of that stuff bothers me.
No, it doesn't.
But I'm saying, like, if you're gonna take,
and it doesn't bother them either.
Right.
It's just this is the time for calling things out.
Right.
I don't think it does.
It's cancel culture, and now they're trying to cancel Cardi B.
Right.
Which I don't even think she should be canceled. If you want to listen to her music,
go for
that's
it.
on you.
Yep.
But like, it's just when I see you go so hard trying to cancel other people for doing similar things,
Right.
and then you give passes to other people, that's where it's like,
Right.
what are we doing?
And trying to say you had to survive while making $3,000.
Yeah,
is
it's ridiculous.
Stop it.
But stop. People are making that excuse for her though. Like she had to do what she had to do. Blah blah blah. But she says it in the video that she was trying to pay for studio time to get her music career popping. She was already making a bunch of money stripping.
Yeah.
So it's like, so doing what you have to do to survive is to pay for studio time to get a music career. Like I don't. That doesn't sound like survival to me.
Right.
Survival to me is like when someone is starving so much that they sneak into a food store and steal some food, and they, because that's the only way they can survive. Like,
it's a life or death situation.
Right.
Yeah.
On some Aladdin shit.
Yeah. Gotta eat to live, gotta live to eat.
Right.
Tell you all about it when I got the time. No?
Of course
No?
he's gonna sing the whole song.
We know what he likes.
Yeah, man. But
I'm not excited for that Aladdin movie, by the way.
Oh, with Will Smith?
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know what I think about it.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what I think about a lot of these movies nowadays. So, along those same lines, I wanted to get y'all's take on this. You heard about the rapper Nipsey Hussle
Yeah.
getting killed and that whole situation.
Yep.
What do y'all think about that?
I think it's a conspiracy.
Well, I mean, I'm still trying to kind of put, because there's so much out there now.
Right.
Like, you really have to kind of slow down and try and filter this thing.
Yeah.
What I would say is this. When I found out about him and I started looking into him and I started listening to what he had to say, I began to appreciate his ideas.
Right.
I really did, because it showed that just because he presented himself a certain way doesn't mean he didn't have the room to grow. And it gave me something to be like, you know what, maybe sometimes we all rush to judgment, and he was one of those guys.
Right.
That he was a lot more smarter, and he had to go through those things to
because
learn.
he was born into an environment that most people don't make that growth out of.
No.
He was born into gang culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he grew up
But
in
even
that.
as a kid, there's videos of him as a kid, and he's talking, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
This guy is an impressive dude.
Right.
You know? But you are a product. There's no good or bad. You're a product
You're a product of your environment.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, you're right. Like, you can't, I never judge people like based off of that. You know what I mean? Like, some of the people that I love to death see, you know, they come around here, we're like this, but they may not, they come from a different world, so you can't judge them on that. You judge them based off of what you see them do and their actions and what the way they speak and and how you see them move.
He's the embodiment of that.
Right. Yeah.
He's
Exactly.
the embodiment of that.
Right.
And he was a good guy, and I think part of it was he saw the era of gangbanging, of promoting that stuff. Even though he talked about it, you could see that through his actions, through what he was trying to do, build and buy. He was talking about entrepreneurship, which I've always said that I think the only way for, you know, black people to really be, you know, a contender in the race of, you know, economics and all that stuff is to build an economic empire. You have to practice that.
And
that's just what it is.
And the things that he was doing in the community to try to like do that and work with the police department and try to like make it was impressive stuff.
Yeah, and he was trying to change the culture.
Right. And that's the main thing, trying to change the culture. And you know what is crazy is that I'm hearing a lot more people talk about that now. I'm hearing a lot more people talk about like what's wrong with the culture.
I think
that someone like
best,
that could get killed. You know what I mean?
Over what?
That's what Charlamagne was talking about.
Like, yeah, he was talking about that.
Right.
You know,
I heard a lot of people talking about that. Like, we need to have real discussions about.
We need to. What's causing this?
What's causing this?
What's causing this?
Because white people didn't do this. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't like, and a lot of people are trying to make it a conspiracy about Dr. CB. You know, and it's fun to talk about. I was telling Rachel yesterday that we might do a segment of the podcast where it's James and James Conspiracy Hour.
Yo, it's not far off though. Like the dude.
Doctor, real quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Hold on, before y'all get into this, I just gotta address Duran. He asked, do you guys think that some women have weaponized sex with the Me Too movement in order to destroy celebrities and politicians for extortion or prostitution rings? I mean, honestly, I think that element exists for sure. Like, one of the main things with celebrities and politicians and anyone who makes it into those higher up circles, they're gonna use your vices against you. They're gonna set you up in situations where they can then later use it to tear you down. But if we get to a place where we're not controlled by those vices, then you can't and that's the thing. A lot of times that's to your detriment, because I know, like, for us, the fact that we don't engage with a lot of that stuff, or like working in the music business and a lot of the meetings and parties that we've been to, they kind of feel you out and see who are the ones that, you know, are willing to do whatever. Right. And if they don't get that vibe from you, they kind of don't mess with you. You know, they'll kind of just like, nah, I ain't fucking with them, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think that there's an element of that, Duran.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, of course they're going to weaponize sex. That's a huge thing to use against men.
Yeah,
it's been
a hard.
I mean, it's one of the main things that's been used from the beginning of time. Look at the Bible, you know.
Right. And it's not just women that'll do that. It's men too.
Right.
Because Kevin Hart's boy, I don't know if you guys remember, one of Kevin Hart's best friend was the one who tried to extort him.
Right.
He knew Kevin Hart's weakness, and he tried to extort him when he got caught up
with
with
that
the girl.
sex tape thing.
Yeah, that was one of his friends, his close friends,
Wow.
who knew that he had this video of him, so he used it to get money. So yeah, it is a weapon.
Yeah.
You know? But that's
like Jamie was saying, man. That's since the beginning of time,
right?
You know.
But this is
Delilah was the one that got
Yeah.
Samson to cut his hair.
That's right.
You know,
sexuality is always going to be. It's a human emotion. It's connected to human emotion. So of course it's gonna work. You know.
And men fall for it.
You have
since
to train
the beginning
yourself.
of time.
You have to train. Listen, you have to. I talk to Jamie all the time about this. It's training. If you know that, look, this could potentially lead to something, you have to see it coming from a mile away and make the adjustments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to make the adjustments. For me, it's like, I noticed that, okay, I think you have to look at it from the standpoint of, I don't want to put myself in that position,
right,
or ever allow myself to be in that position, because I don't want to make those mistakes.
Right.
And if I continue to put myself in that position, eventually, I don't know what may happen, you know?
Yeah.
So men need to really make that adjustment.
Yeah. You know? The flesh, man.
Yeah.
And they know how to work it.
Right. So, yeah, but real quick before we get back on the topic of Nipsey Hussle, the whole Dr. CB thing, everybody's saying that, and I don't think it's a conspiracy, but I do think this. There is something that we need to talk about, and that is holistic healing. That is natural medicines.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one thing in America that's been kind of like
lost.
Yeah, because they think if you say anything about natural herbal remedies, you're some weird kook. But I remember living in Trinidad for 14 years of my life. We didn't have aspirin and Tylenol. We didn't have the medicine that you guys have ready. We had bush medicine. We had a lot of natural things that we consumed, and we were fine. Now, obviously, I'm not going to make the comparison saying that it was better, because I don't know that.
Yeah.
But it worked for us because we didn't have the alternative. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's what people need to understand. As far as Dr. CB goes, he was a man that he was suffering from obesity. He was suffering from diabetes. He was suffering from certain ailments. And he's originally Honduran. He's from Honduras.
Yeah.
His dad is of Haitian descent. He went down there because this is what these people knew and believed, and they didn't believe in synthetic drugs. So he went down there and he was cured of certain things. It worked for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he came back and he realized these people have natural remedies, and it's been working for them for thousands of years. And you know what's crazy about this? People don't understand. Most of the medicine that's made now, they go to the rainforest. They go to these countries and look for those things, certain drugs, to see what they're using.
Yeah, they're made from, melons and,
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think people need to really sit back and realize that just because it comes from a bottle and has a pretty label doesn't necessarily mean it's.
But that's another thing that we talk about all the time, though. Is like it's what you're used to.
Yeah.
And
the marketing machine behind it too helps.
I mean, I'm gonna give an example. Like one of our friends, like, just because it's packaged up, and it comes from a factory.
Yeah.
It's wrapped up in plastic or whatever like that.
Right.
That means it's okay.
Yeah.
The FDA approves it. No, the FDA also approves a certain amount of rat hair, a certain amount of bugs in your shit. So you're eating all that stuff that that you think that is.
Yeah, that's definitely, people have this illusion of
That's exactly what it is.
Excuse me. This illusion of like something being sanitary and safe because it comes in this plastic wrapping, and they're like, oh, this hasn't been touched. You did work in the factories.
I did work in the factory since I was 13.
And you know how that stuff is packaged.
Yeah.
Right. When you was helping Julio at Bridor, you see how they package all that stuff.
Yep.
It's not as sanitary as y'all think.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I've seen people go to the bathroom. They wear plastic blue gloves.
Mm-hmm.
They go into the bathroom, blow their nose with the blue gloves.
Yeah.
come back in.
and go right back in on that
On that line,
line. You know, so it's like
So you getting your
just
Entenmann's.
because
You getting
exactly your
Entenmann's.
Entenmann's or better yet those Starbucks knobs,
Yeah.
those little chocolate croissants,
Right.
yeah, they're made in factories.
They were making those. Yeah, they make those. Starbucks gets a lot of those in New Jersey. I know from the one in Vineland.
yeah.
And yeah, it's not as sanitary as y'all think. So there's
just
this
because
illusion.
just because it's wrapped up in plastic don't mean that it's
But yeah, there's I've seen stuff about Dr. CB before this whole thing happened. Like I was watching, YouTube clips. Me and you, we always go down these rabbit holes. And
you introduced me a while ago, and I watched some videos of him actually a long time ago. Sorry to cut you off.
no, it's cool. No, I was just gonna say like he has talked about healing a lot of people, and I know Left Eye was real big on talking about him, and a lot of her documentary was talking about that when she got killed. And it's just weird. It's a weird thing. And
there is, like I said, the Nipsey Hussle Dr. CB thing is not the conspiracy. The conspiracy is by the pharmaceutical companies to shut down any ideas that you can be healed or cured naturally through an herbalist.
Right.
That to me is a conspiracy.
Right.
They didn't want Nipsey to finish the documentary that he was doing.
No, because if that was true, I think they would make sure everything on the internet with him was off of there.
Right.
There's tons of stuff on there about him.
You can see him interviewing with mad people.
Right. But I'm saying I try not to go too far and say, okay, let me connect everything.
Right.
I say this. I think pharmaceutical companies.
It's fun to do sometimes.
It's fun, yeah, because you chase the rabbit, right?
Right.
But the thing is, I think it's much more important that the pharmaceutical companies make sure that guys like this, or herbalists, or people who are doing the natural holistic thing, to shut them down,
right?
Than to ever for them to ever lose any dollar,
right,
to these kind of guys.
Exactly, because if he's really got cures for all of these things that they're saying are incurable,
right,
and that you have to keep going to get your medications refilled,
right,
they lose tons of business,
tons of money.
And if he's been to court 2 times
and won,
he had to have some evidence.
He did.
Yeah.
That they couldn't stop him from practicing medicine.
He did.
So that,
and that's what people don't realize. The fact that this guy was practicing medicine without a license, got charged, won, right, twice, right, shows that whatever he had was good enough,
right,
for them to say, okay, fine.
Yeah.
We
can't get him.
We can't get him.
Can't get this guy.
But I was just telling Simone about this. Like I said, growing up in Trinidad, we didn't have.
Bruh, I remember the story of when your sister got stung by a scorpion.
Yeah.
Tell the story of what the cure was for the poison that the scorpion put in her body.
Well, this is it's probably superstition. But she got bit and they roasted it, they made her eat it.
They made her eat the scorpion.
They made her eat the scorpion. I don't think that
because that's how you avoid this. Yeah. So it's like there is some like weird bush medicine stuff.
It's weird.
But where do all of the medicines that we know of?
It originates
from
the
single
rainforest.
medicine that we know of is taken from some type of bush medicine use.
It starts off with, what are these shamans, these witch doctors, these holistic healers are doing, and let's copy that.
Right.
Like the cocaine plant was originally, it was a type of Novocaine that they would use for toothaches.
Right. Or they would use for energy when they're working in the field.
Yeah, energy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
so they were just eating the shit.
Yeah,
but they weren't getting high.
It's not that potent.
Yeah, it's not that potent
when you chew on the leaf. It's just like marijuana. Like it's not as potent when you it's the whole process.
You would drink it in tea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
and you would only do it when you get home after you're working long days in the field.
Right.
You know what I mean? I remember one time I was in we were in the forest in Trinidad. And my cousin, we were hunting, and my cousin got cut with a machete. And it was like it was like gotta be like 80, 90 degrees hot. Mm-hmm. And this blood was not stopping. I remember my uncle telling us, if you ever get cut, they would tell all of us, if you ever get cut in the forest and it's a bad cut, quickly look for a banana tree. And you cut the banana tree. Banana has a sap on it. And that sap is almost like a type of liquid Band-Aid. Mm-hmm. And he said, you got to cut it and immediately put it on the wound.
Right.
Right? Now, I don't know if at that time, I don't know if he's telling us a lie, but we tried it and it worked.
Right.
It really worked. Like I'm telling you, this thing was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And we laid him down. We were little boys. We were probably like 11 or 10.
Yeah.
You know, and we cut the sap and we squeezed it on there and it worked, man. And
I believe it, man. Like that's where, like I said, that's where all the medicine. Like somebody probably saw that when somebody that was traveling the world, one of these doctors saw that.
Liquid Band-Aid.
And they said
liquid Band-Aid.
Ooh, liquid Band-Aid.
Liquid Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Millionaire.
This is where we make this from. What's the scene from Gladiator? He's got that big gash in his arm, and dude chews up the thing and puts it in there.
It on there.
Yeah, like that's real stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're so brainwashed to believe that the only way to get healed is to go to a doctor, a hospital, get your prescription, and I mean,
Cambodians did the same thing. I mean, growing up, if you couldn't poop, my mom took a tamarind seed.
Yeah.
If a baby can't go, took a tamarind seed, stick it up the hiney, and boop.
Bam, that's where
poopies come out.
That's where what are those suppositories came from?
Suppositories.
Right.
Old ancient remedies. That's what people don't realize. Those things came from the ancient mystery schools.
Right.
They taught all of these things.
Yeah.
But it was considered a secret. You know, only certain people can know that. You know what I mean? And off of that, it derived other things. You know.
Right, and then it was taught to believe that this is witchcraft, witch doctors,
magical.
It's not modern medicine,
right?
You know.
Which a lot
of it is nonsense,
right?
Like bloodletting.
Yeah,
Your blood is bad.
But that was modern medicine at some point.
It was
bloodletting. There was a lot of practices that doctors were doing that were pretty messed up, like, that they didn't realize were actually killing people.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the advancement of medicine, I guess.
Right. But let's get back to Nipsey Hussle.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about that culture that produces his killer, Eric Holder.
Right.
Like let's talk about that, because that originates somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it seems to be affecting the black community, our community, more.
Right.
Okay.
100%.
That attitude, that mindset. Because apparently, I'm going for what was said now. Aside from the conspiracy theories, is this. He told him, hey, don't hang around here.
Right.
You're a snitch.
You're a snitch.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And the guy came back and shot him.
Because you disrespected me. Right.
He disrespected me. Where is that coming from?
Right. What is it? What is wrong with the culture where it's like, if someone says something you don't like, I got to kill you.
I got to kill you.
Or if you said something to me that makes me feel bad, I now have to kill you and end your life. Like,
right.
Like we need to figure out.
And that's overwhelmingly. That I'm sure that happens in other community, but overwhelmingly in the black community. It happens more.
Statistically, it is overwhelmingly in the black community.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a shame, and we need to figure out. I saw a clip someone put up on the internet. I'm gonna send it to you, Rachel, because it made a lot of sense. He was talking about how they used hip hop as a tool to indoctrinate people under that way of thinking.
I think so.
You know what I mean? And it definitely plays a part.
I love hip hop, but when someone said to me, "Hey, listen, truly break that down and see what the message is. What are they talking about?"
Right.
And if you're honest, not all of it, but if you're honest, if you're truly honest, you'll say, "Yes, this stuff is a breeding ground for that type of thinking."
Right. And when you look at how it got there and what hip hop was before that ideology took a hold, right?
Right.
And what it was doing for the black community, because the black community was in shambles back then. Like when you look at the Bronx and like New York, where hip hop came from, and how like the Bronx was burning back then, and there was like a lot of poverty. But then hip hop started changing that.
Yep.
And then you started seeing all.
It became
of this,
a movement.
Yeah, it became
kids,
this. Yeah.
Instead of kids wanting to fight, they wanted to get together and battle on cardboard.
Yeah. Right.
Dance,
you know,
dance offs.
Right.
And talk about who had the best rhymes. And,
right.
And
so it was a tool, but no one saw it as the executive types didn't see it as a viable.
Well, I think they did.
Or back then?
I think they did.
Okay.
They saw it as a viable money source, but then.
Not right away though. They probably looked at it like
not right away.
Yeah.
Until it started. Still, they started making money first off of it.
Yeah.
Right. Then they said, "Oh, we can make some more money off of it."
Well, when they looked on the Billboard chart, they were like, "LL Cool J, Run DMC."
Right. But I'm talking about the concept of like, all right, now we're gonna take a hold of it and we're gonna start pushing. What's up? Oh, I thought you were getting my attention. We're gonna start pushing a certain ideology through the music.
Yeah.
Or it's like we're only promoting NWA. We're pushing, street culture, thug culture, gangster culture. Like we're glorifying that now. And then it becomes an ego culture, and then it becomes about money and consumerism and womanizing and all of these things that are destructive to a community rather than
to young men, man. Like
right. Because before that, who were the biggest names in hip hop in like the early 90s when it's really started, Public Enemy, Raekwon was a little bit later.
Oh.
Well, but yeah.
Earlier.
Earlier.
More,
like, because even Wu-Tang was pushed more the street culture.
Yeah, it was.
But
they made
I'm talking
something.
about like Leaders of the New School, was Q-Tip and them.
Tribe Called
Tribe Called Quest.
More positive.
Yeah,
More
there was this whole
De La
movement.
Soul.
De La Soul, Queen Latifah, like this
I was
whole
more of an R&B guy.
this whole movement to like use hip hop as a tool to preach positivity.
And they were. Remember the song Self-Destruction?
Yeah.
We're
You're
headed for self-destruction. Yeah.
Right.
And all of them were in there. Kumo D, Africa Bambaataa.
Right.
Everybody was in there.
Right.
Heavy D. Yep.
Yeah. But then the money, it's like anything else, right? Once you start taking that market and flooding it with money,
yeah, you can't filter that.
Then it becomes...
Because you know what's a great example of what you're just saying there? Black Eyed Peas. Right. This is not they when they first started, they were hip hop, they were conscious as group.
Yep.
And nobody bought their music.
Right.
And what's the lead singer again?
will.i.am.
will.i.am.
Yeah.
will.i.am said in an interview, and I read this, he said, it's funny, he's like, I get people tell me all the time, you guys are sellouts, you guys sell out. He's like, listen, when you've invested thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars into this and you get nothing, and he's like, and you know that this is what you love to do, you either are gonna continue doing this and make nothing, or you're gonna try and sell records by making a hit song or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, sell out. He's like, that's why, and I understand that, and in a way, I think that's what happened with gangster rap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if that happened with gangster rap. I understand that with them because
Black Eyed Peas never really like promoted.
No, I'm saying when they made that switch with Fergie, when he was basically saying, look, we were trying to make conscious music,
right?
But nobody
no
bought
one
that.
wanted to buy that,
so we had to go the pop route and be corny.
But I think like when they were trying to make conscious music, it was already lost. Like hip hop was already lost.
Right.
Like because like. Think about that. NWA was
1991.
Yeah, 1992. And when you think about they were literally just rapping about what they saw every day. I mean, Ice Cube, from what they were saying, grew up in a different neighborhood, but still, like they were rapping about what they knew, their community. They're rapping about what they saw every day. But then it became like this counterculture rebellion against authority, against the police, and I'm saying like the executives that latched onto that and started putting all this money behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where it started changing.
Well, there was somebody who said that there was a meeting of the minds and they got together and said, how can we change this and make hip hop a weapon, a tool to change culture,
Yeah.
Because even them, Ice Cube and NWA, people always cite them as the originators of that. But they were flashy, but not to the level of what's,
I mean, flashiness has always been a black thing. That's I don't think that's what the problem with what I have with hip hop. I think it's more of like the destructive messages,
right?
The glorification of the type of behavior that leads to Nipsey Hussle being killed for no reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you're like we saw it, and you saw it too in the neighborhoods that we were in. The neighborhoods that Williamstown, New Jersey, Voorhees, New Jersey, these aren't street neighborhoods in the least.
No.
But for some reason, those ideals started infiltrating the people that we grew up around because of the music that they listened to and the glorification of it, and then feeling like you're less than if you somehow don't live by those rules.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not a part of this.
Right.
You know?
What is an attraction to like inner city culture, and
Yeah.
it's a culture of chaos because that's what it is, and you feel like if you're not part of that, you're weak. You know, so
Exactly.
you try to dress like that, you try to talk like that, and this kid, the guy who killed him, Eric Holder's his name. He probably is generation deep into that thinking. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And that's the main issue with it.
Right. But Nipsey Hussle is a type of rapper, like, you know,
Did you get that? I just sent something to the document thing.
Nipsey is the type of rapper that when you look at what he was trying to do, that's what we were talking about when we talked about Jay-Z and we talked about all these, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Nipsey
When we
Hussle
were
is
talking to Nana's brother.
Yeah, he was 30.
and
He's
Kyle.
33. He was 33 when he was doing all of this.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And we were saying that, but the funny thing is, like, he was just starting to get attention.
But he had been
mainstream-
doing
He
that.
had been doing this,
Yeah.
but he's just starting to get mainstream attention.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing the music. He's not talking about what everybody else is talking about.
Yeah.
And he's pushing himself. He's not being pushed by big money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you talked about that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. The big money is being put behind Tekashi 6ix9ine. The big money is being put behind, you know, Uzi,
So there's a machine.
Uzi Vert,
Uzi
Migos.
Vert, yeah. There's a machine.
Right.
Right? And that machine basically said,
It's
hey, how-
mass marketing
Right.
the stuff that's more destructive,
Right.
is what I'm saying.
Right.
You know.
Do they really care about, you know, the black society?
No.
Dude, we just talked about Asians didn't want to see Black Panther.
I saw Black Panther. I'm Asian.
You're not Asian. They don't claim you. Yeah, talk about that a little bit though. Like, you grew up more around black culture, being in Philly, South Philly, and then Williamstown.
No, in Philly, really, no, I really didn't. It was like I lived in a Cambodian community, but
That's right. You get chased by the black
I
kids.
used to get chased by the blacks, man. But now they're my friends. Yeah, I used to when I walked to school. I used to get chased for my lunch money. They got me one time. You know, I don't know who did it, but y'all got me one time, and that was it. But you know, growing up though, when I moved to Williamstown, I don't know. I just was associated more with you know, the Spanish side of things.
Why am I the Spanish side of things?
Oh, you're both. You're both.
But I have a question for you though. Were there other Cambodians in your school?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So
There was hardly any Asians.
Hardly.
There
Barely,
was a few.
barely few.
So you're kind of forced to almost, you know what I mean?
Pick a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
But
could
I
be-
was-
you
it's
could
not-
be Eugene Baiawa or you could be Simone Chang. You got to pick a spot.
Wait.
I
your name is
was
Eugene?
friends.
Eugene was he was Chinese, right? No, Filipino.
he was Filipino.
He was a Filipino kid that we were cool with, but he was more like his identity was more in like student council, you know,
Right.
like, you know.
I wasn't
He was
that
friends with the
smart.
white guys.
Yeah.
Mon, he didn't stand a chance in that world, so he picked his spot. He said, "I'm gonna put on these goggles."
No one would be cool.
Said, "I'm gonna put on this P Diddy outfit."
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop. And I'm gonna figure it out. Plus, black girls gave him a lot of attention, so that's
Maybe-
probably what really did it.
Yeah.
Is that he used to get a lot of attention from black girls.
Yeah.
So
Maybe, I don't know. I can't say that was the reason.
that definitely has plays a
point.
factor.
Is that why I was attracted to
It plays a factor.
Yeah.
If they're the ones giving you attention,
Yeah, it does.
Dr.
You
Phil?
know.
It does.
I definitely think that's going to shape, like, if you're moving into a new environment and these are the girls that are showing you attention, even though Amy was Filipino,
Yeah.
but if you're getting attention from a certain community, you might, you know, lean towards that community a little bit more.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah. I'd say that. I'd say that definitely that's a natural thing. You try to, you know, if you're in a place where a certain type of people are attracted to you or whatever it is,
Right.
you're gonna kind of assimilate a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
That I mean, you could speak to that too, right?
Yeah.
Because black girls didn't.
Not at first. I think they thought I was cute.
But you married a black girl.
I did. I came
But
back.
he's later in life right now.
Yeah, but I think back then, it was more like that. Actually, goes back to the hip hop thing,
Right.
Because I didn't grow up with that, so
Right. So again, the same concept is like you didn't grow up with that. You don't fit into the stereotypical view of what a black guy is. So
weren't
that
the
makes
cool
you
guy.
that makes you corny.
right.
You know.
Well, when they after like at first when yes there was an attraction, but then when they discovered that I don't have those things in common,
Right.
that's in the black community, it's like if you don't like all the same things,
Right.
you're no
Especially at that age.
right.
At that age, like you're totally indoctrinated into like, mainstream culture,
Right.
whatever. All of the girls when we were in high school, all of the girls loved DMX and Method Man and all of these.
You don't
these
know how to
guys.
freestyle. You wear your pants up to your waist,
Dude. That
above your waist.
Belts.
there's
Above the belly button.
there is a conversation to be had there because I saw something where they were talking about how Russell Wilson is always getting clowned
I'm
by,
glad you brought that
by
up.
black dudes
Yeah.
or Sierra either or they talk about how she can't be happy with him. Like black dudes will hate and be like she can't be happy with him.
Well, let's clarify.
Why not? He's a
There's
great
certain
quarterback.
There's a certain type of black dude.
Right.
It's hood dudes.
Right.
Because I remember hearing this stuff about Future blasting him for like almost like taking care of his son.
Right.
Like how dumb could you be?
Yeah.
Like you're mad at somebody for taking care of your kid.
Dude, it's the dumbest
It's
way of
stupid.
thinking. I don't understand it. But
Right.
it's that mentality where it's like she can't be happy with a guy like that.
He's a square.
Because he's a square.
Slim Thug said that. He's a square.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she needs to be happy with someone
Like
who
Slim, like
yeah,
him.
like him.
Yeah.
Like to me it's like someone who is, but how is he a square? Like he's a star quarterback,
Yeah.
Super Bowl rings.
Well,
You know what I mean?
what they're calling
Super
square
Bowl
is the way
ring.
ring. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Should have two.
The should have two.
Should have two. That's for the sports podcast. All right.
They're calling him that because there's a perception of how you dress and talk as being corny, and he represents that to them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Go Hawks. Every time he does that, it reminds me of the skit of Dave Chappelle, like how he
Hello.
goodbye
fried chicken.
Hello,
Hello, fried
fried
rice.
And he does that every time when he interviews. Afterwards, he's like, "Go Hawks."
Yeah, but
I don't think.
He's a good guy. He does a lot for the community.
He does a lot for the community.
Yeah.
He takes care of his kids.
And why can't that
he
just be
takes
him?
care of his wife.
Yeah.
He takes care of a kid that's not his.
Right. But
my thing is, who died and made you an authority on cool?
Right.
Like to me,
that's the problem.
You're 38 years old with frosted tips and dreads.
right. And you're still caught up in buying $6,000 jeans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you're the corny one.
Right.
Jeans.
Yeah, man. Like Gucci, wearing all Gucci.
That's what we
the
need
fact
to
that
do.
you feel like you need to do that.
Right.
But somehow he needs to be insecure.
But that's what happens though. I think when regular dudes don't call out that as buffoonery.
Right.
Like that's what it is. Regular guys need to say, "Nah, man, stop it." First of all, you're the corny one.
Right.
It's get out of here.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like
some would call me corny because I can't name one Future song.
Yeah, they would. They would name you. They would call you corny, but
I
call you old.
I think Russell Wilson is a great guy.
I do too.
He is a great guy.
I think we need more guys like that.
I do too. I think he's a.
Would
a
I
great
want my
guy.
daughter to date Russell Wilson or Future?
Right.
Yeah.
I'd pick Russell Wilson.
Of course. I don't want Future. Get out of here.
He's a great quarterback, by the way.
Russell?
Yeah.
He's one of the best.
But you wouldn't know anything about because you love Cam Newton.
No, I do like Cam Newton. Cam Newton is one of the most talented quarterbacks. He dresses like the Joker.
He dresses like
He just
a character on Dick Tracy.
He's the Joker.
His hats are so ridiculous. Like me and James,
Mo makes fun of me because I'm not a big
I make
sports
fun
guy.
of him because He's so enlightened, so articulate. But he loves Cam Newton.
I do. I like the way he plays.
He is good.
I like his energy. I think he's a great quarterback. I just think he's just
He gets in his head though. You know, when he's Cam Newton is great and fun when we're getting totally into sports, Jamie.
Moan just took over. Get back in here quick.
Cam Newton, real quick. Cam Newton is great as he's a great quarterback when he's having fun, but when he's when things are not going his way, his passes are like. Whew.
Yeah, he's a sore loser. No, I agree with that, but I still like watching him play.
Yeah.
Cam Newton gets in his own head a lot.
Yeah. He does.
But he's someone that wouldn't be considered corny, even though he wears those ridiculous hats in his press conference.
Yeah.
But I think the whole Russell Wilson Sierra thing speaks to the concept of, because there was like this thing where he was talking about how he went and I think he bought all of her masters that he like paid for her to get ownership of all her masters or something, and people were saying like, wow. She got a good man, and you have to go through a future to find a Russell.
No,
and it's like,
you
don't put that message out there.
Yeah, no,
it's like,
you don't have to go through a future.
Right,
you could pick better.
Right, that's the problem. It's like we need to be teaching our daughters. You have a daughter, I have two. You don't have one, but you have sons that you could teach. And it's like we have to teach them not to be fooled by the futures. You know what I mean? Not to think that that's the cool guy.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that aren't going to be there for you. Pick a Russell first.
Yep.
Because that's not corny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's the right decision.
Yeah,
in the
all
long
the
run.
girls who had picked future, all they have is future memories. That's it. They don't have nothing tangible to hold on to.
Right.
That's what it is. We have to talk about why is it that we're attracted to certain things. Like, I tell you all the time, like, I got to a stage in life when I decided, like, the type of women that I was initially attracted to, I had to reconfigure all of that and say, whoa, what am I doing?
Right.
And look at what was influencing me, what I was around, where I was going, how I was being socialized and culturally training myself, until I realized, you know what? I need to forget all of that and really sit down and pick.
Right.
And I think you cannot make excuses for your choices.
But people do, though.
Of course they do. No one wants to take ownership of what's wrong.
No one wants to say, I messed up.
Right.
But I think that's one of the most productive things you can ever do.
Yeah.
Any situation that happens to you, you can find a reason. You can find a place where you could have made a better decision in that, and then it eliminates you feeling like a victim at any point.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a woman like Sierra needs to come out and say, "Girls,
right.
Here's the deal.
I was caught up making bad decisions.
Don't make the decisions.
Don't follow. Right. I didn't get lucky and just found the man of my dreams. No, I made smarter decisions and decided to not be caught up in the flashiness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're caught. Like, all of that stuff, like the fact that you're caught up in somebody who's got to wear head to toe Gucci, you know what I mean, with the bling everywhere, and like you said, the frosted tip, the dreadlocks. It's like you're peacocking. You're trying, and you're
attracted to that,
right? And the women that are caught up and attracted to that, you're doing yourself a disservice, because the men that don't need to do that and could be a good man to you are the ones that. They're not out there doing that because those guys, they're doing that for everybody. Yeah. They're trying to get as many as they can.
Yeah, that's not a guided missile.
Right.
That's a scatter grenade.
Right.
Like, exactly. I hope I get all of them.
Exactly. That's what that is. Yeah. That's not a heat-seeking missile right there.
Stop it. Yeah. And it's the same thing for men. Like, you can't say, you want a girl. Let's use Cardi B, for example.
Right.
And turn her into a housewife and then and then surprised at her behavior.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you'd cuss
or people feel sorry for her because of the guy that she's with, that just had a baby with, cheated on her, and then it's like, we're supposed to feel bad about that?
No, you're making bad choices.
You chose one of the Migos. Future Junior. You know what I mean? Like,
you guys are so unsympathetic.
No, I think for me it's like this. I feel like taking ownership of your life and taking ownership of where you go wrong is very, very important.
It is, man.
And you have to self-evaluate. You have to stop. Every year you should, or ever how long you want to do it, stop and say, what am I making mistakes on? And let me try and fix that.
Right. What, and that can be any aspect of your life, financially.
Right.
You know, what am I doing
Yeah.
that I can't, you know,
Why am I on
move-
this path? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying this, right? Like my daughter's a baby, but eventually she'll grow up. When she starts gravitating to certain things, I'm not gonna yell at her and be like, "Don't do that," because I'm gonna try and learn why, and then try and break that down for her and show her, hey, listen, here's why you're attracted to that. That's really your friend that's attracted to that, but because you like that girl, you're letting her influences soak into you. You're letting what she likes soak into you. You have to break that down versus what my parents did, which is like, I forbid you. Don't ever
Exactly.
do that.
Yo, dude, I have young boys, and the only way that I sit down, like, if they do something wrong, I whoop their asses. But I'm gonna sit them down and explain to them
Child
like
Protective Services on the way for Simone Chang.
Brought to you by
I'll-
Whoop Your Ass.
Hey, I'm an advocate.
Brought to you by a can of whoop ass.
My name is Chang.
I'm an advocate for ass whoopings, but I also realize I can't just go, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You
When
got-
you freak out on them,
You
don't-
sit
yeah.
you sit down and you talk to these kids. They receive you more, and
Yep.
you make them understand like why, like what you did wrong, and how you can fix it in the future, and
And let them know that this is what it's going to lead to.
Right.
If you keep that behavior up.
Right.
This is what it's going to lead to.
Yeah.
And with the internet now, you can show them examples.
Yeah,
you know,
check it this.
Be like, look at this. Let me show you this.
Yeah.
You see what you were doing there? This is where that leads.
Yep. Yeah.
So keep that up and see what happens.
We came from the generation, I said so.
Right.
Why?
Because I said so, right.
And that's not going to work.
Yeah.
No. That's not going to work. So you have to.
We know it didn't work with us.
It didn't work.
So
were you going to do the same thing? You got to break. When your kid comes to you and say, I would like some Jordans. Tell me about it. Why?
Why do you
know
want?
him?
That's exactly what my question would be. Why?
Tell me. Come on. Well, who is this guy? Who's this? I'll act like I don't even know him.
Right.
Who's Jordan? Well, I don't know. He's a guy, my friend, my thing.
Yeah.
A guy, my friend, my thing. Great.
Right.
You didn't convince me of nothing. I know that it's because she saw that in school and she's trying to be like somebody else. And
Right.
I want her. I want to unpack all of that.
You got to unpack it and make her understand that you're just following.
You're following.
And once you make them explain it
This
all,
is a
they'll
short trip.
be able to unpack it themselves.
Yeah, this is a season. That girl that you're trying to be cool with may not even talk to you in 2 months from now.
Exactly.
So you went out and you invested in this kit to look like her, and she don't even care about you.
Right.
And same thing if I have a son, same thing. I think those conversations are very important.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that clip I sent you? Oh, okay. Maybe it'll work now. 30 minutes. 30 minutes, guys. Well, that was, I don't know when you sent that.
But yeah, I do think back to Nipsey Hussle again.
Yeah.
You know what? I really appreciate that because we've been talking about that for a long time.
Right.
About the only way to build the black community is through economics, and it's through building your own.
Right.
Okay. That's really the only way. And I don't have all the time to really break all that down right now, but I would say this: every economist, Dr. Thomas Sowell is one of them.
Right.
Milton
People need
Friedman.
to, if you don't know who Dr. Thomas Sowell is, you need to start researching him and looking at what he talks about the black community, about the economy, about indoctrination. Like he goes into all of this stuff.
He's a brilliant man.
He's brilliant.
He's a brilliant man. And there's another one, Dr. Milton Friedman.
Yeah.
Those guys were economists, and they break things down in a way that I never thought of, right? And those principles are going to be effective for a long time. As long as there's capitalism, it's going to be.
Right.
That's how it is, And I think that's what we need to do. And that's what this young man, Nipsey Hussle, understood. That in order to build his community, he needed to invest into that.
Right.
Positive to negative was not a consequence of history.
He's talking
it was
about
not a
hip-hop.
circumstance of history. It was nothing that just happened on its own. They intentionally shifted the paradigm to get us exactly where we are right now. Right now, we're feeding the prison industrial complex right now. Our kids are going to prison because they're promoting these records. They're promoting these records daily that send us to jail. You know what I mean? It's cool to go to jail. You know what I mean? They glorify these
It's cool to
things.
go to jail.
It's not the black youth. We're in a
glorified.
position where we get, like the brother said, the choice. You know, he said, yo, I chose the positive. So I didn't do it. But every youth is not going to take that route. Right. I know I come from the projects. Grew up in the projects all my life. You know what I mean? And we're not turning down $500,000 to say nigga. We're not going to do it because we won't turn down $200 to take a package of crack from one corner to the next.
Exactly. He breaks it down. Like, how you going to expect someone who's struggling to get out of the hood to turn down that type of money to put out the music that they're putting out and say the things? If they see that it's reaping rewards for them, they're going to keep that going. And then in turn, it just keeps feeding the prison system. It keeps feeding that mentality in the inner city. That's why Chicago is so crazy.
Yeah.
And people don't want to.
But the money they make from that, the money they make from the prison industrial complex.
Exactly.
Insane.
Yeah, it's a business, man.
It's revenue. Yeah.
And he was
Michael Jordan. He's
Right.
invested in the prisons, yo.
Yeah. And you're buying Jordans.
And you're buying Jordans.
And he was speaking on hip hop, and you know, the Nipsey Hussle thing is a huge wake up call for people. That clip that you put in the you should play that clip that you put in the Young Lion docs, Rachel, about the Breakfast Club talking about, is it good to return to the hood after finding success? Like, they're asking that question, like, should we do that because we're getting killed? It's like, you need to do that to change the hood.
But you're afraid to die.
You don't want to die. But the funny thing to me is, like, y'all are the ones spinning these records though. That are causing this whole mentality shift. And it's like, now you're struggling with that.
Right.
Y'all have been perpetuating this for a long time. It's pretty crazy.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, if you just joined us, Charlamagne gave Donkey of the Day to Eric Holder. That's the man that allegedly killed Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, we just saying allegedly for, I guess, legal purposes.
Correct.
Yeah. Dude's probably dead by now, though.
Yes.
But if he's not, you know, he needed to hear what the hell I had to say. But it's not even just for Eric Holder, man. It's for a bunch of us, because I'm telling you, man, we keep, you know, passing off this pain and trauma and calling it culture.
Right.
And like, you know, like I said earlier, like, I don't want to feel like I can't go back to my community and be around my own people. But a lot of times, man, when you in the entertainment business in some way, shape, or form, the biggest threats on your existence are coming from your own people.
And in
I thought it was white
case,
people,
only
though.
my people. You know, it goes to the point. So we're taking your calls 800-585-1051. We're asking, keep it real or keeping it alive. And the reason why we're talking about this is, like Charlamagne said, the biggest threat a lot of times are the people that look like us. You know, a lot of times when we try to go back to the hood or go to the hood, it's our biggest fear. And the reason that myself, even my moms, my pops, my wife, you know, they want me to be careful a lot of times when I go out to the hood or I go to these clubs, I go to these different places. But as a kid growing up, my biggest, the people that I seen really doing it was the drug dealers. And they weren't up to no good. And they were pushing kids to do things because they just felt like these kids wanted money. They wanted to drive cars like the drug dealers. They wanted to wear jewelry like the drug dealers. It was a big thing as a kid. And I remember seeing it, and I remember looking up to some of these drug dealers like, damn, I want a car like that, or damn, I want that. So the fact that I'm able to get out of Queens and be able to do it in a way that is not selling drugs, that is not illegal, that is doing things that I enjoy, whether it's DJing, whether it's doing real estate. I like to go back to those areas to show these kids that you ain't got to do it illegal.
So you go back to show inspiration.
To show inspiration.
Yeah, I think it is important.
Yeah. So, I mean, it
is a wake-up call.
It's a wake-up call. You see it.
You see it.
And the thing is, people need to understand how serious this is. And like the fact that they are speaking on that when they're some of the main people playing this music, or like, you know, they promote the culture that they're speaking on. And you hear them also talk a lot of times about, like, you know, the racism, the systemic racism, but it's like, we need to get a hold of the culture first. And figure out, like, because when you got somebody like a Nipsey Hussle who's trying to change things and then he gets killed by the very culture that he's in, It's like, how are we supposed to get anywhere?
Yeah.
We can't wait. The Asian community doesn't wait. The Chinese community doesn't wait for the politicians to save them.
Yeah.
The Indian community in Voorhees, they're buying up everything. They don't wait for the politicians to come in and make a way for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And black people need to get to a point where they are doing the same thing. And the first step is to stop being brainwashed by this culture of violence and this culture of hood culture that glorifies bad behavior and making excuses for
And
that.
call it out.
Right.
These type of dudes, they have to be embarrassed to even think like that. You have to just call that stuff out and say what it is. And,
Right.
and like you said, the promotion of that. Stop
Right.
promoting that.
Exactly. Stop promoting that. Stop making excuses for that, and start speaking. Stop speaking about the racist elements of things, and start speaking about what we can do as a community to get at, to change the way we look at things, to change the messages we're sending to our young ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we can start seeing a difference. We can start seeing a change. And I mean, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle, because the fact that anyone gets killed is a terrible thing.
Right.
You know,
I think what needs to happen is this. And aside from the changing of the culture, all the celebrities that are reaching out, that are saying this is wrong, they should put up or shut up. Put up their money and continue his endeavors. Put up their money and don't let this stop you.
well, Nick Cannon has said he's going to continue the documentary.
The CB?
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
that's cool and everything.
It's cool,
but
yeah. But
continue what he was doing economically.
Yes.
With the community,
Yes.
with the police force. Like
Yes.
he was setting up, partnerships with them, trying to get the community involved. Like,
yeah,
keep that
to me,
going.
yes, exactly. Keep that going. That's the only way to keep this man's legacy going, is to continue those endeavors. Buying buildings, opening programs for schools to teach kids, working with the police to stop this kind of stuff. They need to continue that to build a community. So the local kids see that instead of gang banging, I can do this and just be just as cool, if not cooler.
Right.
Right. And that'll change our culture overnight.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
because that's what he was trying to do.
I don't know about overnight.
Well, no, overnight, but you know what I mean.
It would have a massive impact. Though.
The thing is this:
if you can, it's what is it? 2 generations.
Yes, and kids respond to what's popular.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying is that if there's more representation of Nipsey Hussle from celebrities and from people like that, I think it's all of a sudden going to be cool to be an entrepreneur,
right?
To work in your community, to build, to do that, and you could dress the way you want to dress. You can have swag and do all of that, but you have to invest back in your own.
Right. You can have swag and still be a good father. You can have swag and still be a good husband, and not be a womanizer, and not be about violence, and not be trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can do that.
Yeah.
It's not an all-encompassing package.
Right.
Yeah, man. I think that's I think we touched on some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Has anybody got anything else they want to talk about?
I was thinking about Fair and Handsome.
Fair and Handsome. Can we watch that again? I want to see that one more time. Fair and Handsome.
Fair and Handsome.
That wasn't a commercial that I was talking about.
It's just hilarious.
Fair and Handsome is one of the most hilarious concepts.
It is.
Yeah.
I would love to go there just to, ask somebody.
Right.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Fair and Handsome.
You wouldn't even have to say it. You'd be like, I'm looking for Fair and Handsome.
You're dark.
Oh, you will need a lot of it.
Handsome.
We've got a drum
Right.
backstage. I don't have hair.
We have some hair product too.
I had to let it go.
The funny thing was the dude at the gym that was like working out, the more European looking guy,
Yeah,
he's looking at him like, look at this dummy.
You're not going to get it. There's another one, though. There's another one that's a little bit more cartoony than that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's the one I was talking about.
Listen, I just love that stuff because to me, it's like it shows how stupid people are.
Right.
Like that's what you think is going to get your attention. I'd rather poison my skin than get a good personality. I'd rather die than learn how to have a conversation.
That's like the Patrice O'Neal joke about women, where he's like, let me tell you how women's relationship with men is based all around sex. He's like, all right, I'm gonna tell this to Rachel so see if you get it. So he says this is how women's idea of this is why women and men their whole relationship is based around sex. He's like, now let's say for some reason, something happens, it's a massive outbreak, and all the vaginas in the world just close up. Women don't have vaginas anymore. He's like, what would you do to keep your man? Right? What would you do to keep your man? And what are the first answers?
No, he asked the audience. So
yeah,
the
he's
audience
asking the audience.
Yeah,
he's asking for answers, for examples.
Right.
We could probably pull this up.
Right.
But he's asking them, like, give me some examples of what you'll do to keep your man. And of course, women are yelling out, I'll give him blowjobs.
Use your hand.
Use your hand.
Bring a friend.
Yeah, right. All this stuff, right? Bring a friend. Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you see? He was like, not one of y'all said have better conversations, learn how to cook, play Xbox. He said, see, y'all.
You describe yourself.
He said, you made yourself a sexual object and you want me to take you seriously? But
genius.
Yeah, genius, man. Patrice O'Neal, one of the best that ever did it.
He sure was, man.
But anyway, all right, guys. We're going to call it a wrap there. Thank you for everybody who's been watching and participating in the chat. We love you guys. Once again, if you want to support the podcast so we can do our James and James Conspiracy Hour and we can do our Simone Sports Hour and all of the cool podcasts we want to do, go to patreon.com/Young Lion TV, or you can go to patreon.com/Jatan, and you can become a Young Lion, enter our pride, and be a Young Lion yourself.
Yo, Hope.
Yeah. What?
They sell Fair and Handsome cream on Amazon.
Of course they do. Bezos ain't losing out on that market.
Right. Who knew?
Fair and Handsome
Fair
cream.
and Handsome.
Oh, just a man I met in the restaurant.
I'm fair and handsome.
Wow.
Why do Indians do that, man? What is that?
I don't know. That's a weird thing. I think it's the ones from India that do that.
Yeah, I know.
Indians from Trinidad are Puerto Ricans. They got shape ups and earrings in their hair
and gold chains.
Yeah.
Every time I see one in New York,
you're like, is he?
I'm like, you Dominican?
Is that Pete?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Pete Garcia.
That's how they dress, man. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. So,
all right, yeah.
All right, guys.
Inside jokes.
Yeah. We're having too much fun here. All right. So, listen, thank you guys again. If you want to be a part of it, Young Lion TV, patreon.com, Jatan, or Young Lion TV, and you can support. You can become a Young Lion. You can get we have like little packages that you can sign up for, and you get free stuff. We're giving you all of our music, all of our backlog music. Anything that comes out in the future, you'll get for free all the time. And if you want to support, it's up to you. If not, it's no big deal. We're doing what we love to do anyway. And I want to give a shout out to James for coming in today and talking with us as always. He is one of our major Young Lions. And also support his business, Mr. Build Right.
Absolutely.
They do a lot of custom cabinetry and fine woodworking and just all around contractor stuff that he is a boss at that stuff. So
I would
look
support him, but I can't afford him.
Why would you say that?
I'm kidding.
Everyone's be like, oh, never mind. Can't afford him. So look him up on Facebook, Mr. Build Right.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching Young Lion TV.
Peace.
Peace.
Young Lion, go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room.